How's it going? So today, 032, we're going to mount the handle back on it. I just went to me up the shed and got an Allen head machine screw kit. These ones are the size I want to use, as opposed to the ones that come off it. They're that much too long. I didn't want to cut them. I'll keep these and use them for something else. They're the ones I want to use. So we'll go ahead and stick the factory AV back there, and then I'll mount the bottom ones back. I think they mount to the case, not the handle, but they could mount to the handle. I'm not 100% sure. So we'll do that. I've got to clean the handle off, so once I get the mounts on, I'll switch it off, go and clean it, blow it off. I've got some citrus cleaner. It's called Dissolve It. That's what I use on the sauce. So we'll smash this back on and go from there. I wonder if that's the same size. That is the same size. Excuse me. Sunday the 13th in Australia today. It's probably Saturday the 12th over in America and Canada and stuff. I probably should put a bit of Loctite on this. I'll do that. Just a little bit. It's fine threads. So about that much. Don't want them to come out while I'm mid-cut. Cut this one back out. Once I do all this, I might do the Super 2 with the fuel hose, put it up. While it's apart, it's a bit dirty on the inside, so I'll clean it. But I've got this all, it's got a few little chips off the paint, but it's got the original bar, original chain, so it hasn't done much work. Air filter I'm going to have to make up because it's not there. So that mounts on. For the new ones, bottom ones. For those that are wondering, this is the Profiler tooth box. So it's a road mill, a Vertgen. Handy things to put stuff in, like that carby and them bits are out of an 023. 023 chain adjusters, clutch springs, 029 sprocket bearing. You know, this is what I should have done with that tool. 032. AV mounts, impulse hoses, fuel hoses. That's the one I want. Then I've just got old bags with part numbers. That's the AV spring out of the 211 behind me there. I've got brand new coils for 170s. Old 023 air filter. 021023 MS230 piston. Here's what the part number for a Taxon piston. They're pretty good. I probably wouldn't use the rings, a set of caber rings or media rings for that. Chain adjuster for a 660. Intake boot off the 230. Sean doesn't stock them, so I've got to find one from somewhere else. That's how I got it on the saw. Anyway, get these AV mounts out. The bottom ones. They go inside the handle, so it'll be they sit in it like so. Sits in it, so they'll be installed after cleaning. See that big crack there? There's not really much to worry about. I could sand it back and JB weld it, but it's not. It's just here, so it's not coming to where the mount sits. There is another crack there, but it's filthy. Putting the chain brake back together would be fun. I don't remember how I pulled it apart, but I'll stick that in that box. I might do a carby kit, I might not yet. I'll just put it back together, run it. So that's on, they've got to go on later. Yeah, I still don't know what these little bolts for. So much stuff on the bench. Let's put them there. That's the chain catch. I believe it uses a little screw like this. And it's probably that one there. That could probably go back on. So we'll leave that there. All these chain brake bits. Spring, the cams, the pins. The idle screw. And another screw. And another E-clip. I don't know if you can see. Small E-clips. Just two of those. The badge has been removed. Should be it's in the box there, same with the starter one. So I'll switch this off and I'll go and clean this up. Have a look at it. Yep. I'll be back when I just go and clean it up, spray it, coat it with the dissolve it, let it sit for a bit, and then I'll hit it with the air compressor. We'll get most of it off. If it needs doing again, I'll just do it again, and then I'll wipe it. I don't hose it. It's citrus based, so won't hurt nothing. No worries, I'll be back shortly, thanks. Righto, I'm back. Look at that. A few little bits I couldn't get off. But inside looks brand new. Don't worry about what the outside looks like on this one anyway. Okay, let's figure out which. Doesn't really matter. Pretty sure it's one of these ones. Goes through that. Could possibly be that one. Just stick it on top and that's where it goes. Where's my Allen key gone? There. With Loctite. Can do the seals once the handle and everything's on. I'll just, yeah, just thought I could continue along. It's the bearing shop's not open today here, so yeah. Sort of. Can't really see on this angle. Out there. There. Going in. Put this one on, pull the intake boot through the handle, and then the bottom ones will be able to go on. Now it feels like it's stripped. Nice and with the right bolt. Just spinning in there. It must be one of these types, but you can't get it in there. That's that one. Must be that one. Because there's two to the bottom. It'll be that one. So like the one for the handlebar, but it's got a bigger head. Must be this one. That's why it's not going in. It's too small. Now I've got to try and get that out. Which ain't all that hard, really. Just keep unscrewing. just put Loctite on that screw for nothing. That's on. Check the screw that's in this one. That's the one. That's on. Put the new handle ones on. They don't want to pop into place. Stick the long nose pliers on the bolt hole and push down. That's all I just did then. Now it's in place. Give the screw a wipe over. It's got dust and bar oil, all that stuff all over it. Bit of Loctite. We'll need a bit of coercion to get into place because they're not, the new mounts aren't as soft as the old ones. And because they're flathead. No, went in alright. Other side that'll be the fun part. So we'll sit him upside down and the mount wants to pop out of the other side. Probably should have put both of them in at once. I'll just loosen this one back off. Give me some room to move. See, there's sort of a crappy design. But I'm sure once they're in properly and worn in, they'll be right. Mounting these and doing brake assembly is probably going to be the most annoyingest part of this build. I remember pulling it apart, it was, well, the AV mounts are nothing, but you can move the old ones soft, these ones are hard. There we go. Reapply. Loctite. Then you turn it back this way. Get it started again. Right there, it's just got to go straight down. Just snug for now until I get the other side in. It should go straight in actually. Clean it, it's dirty. And don't lose it. Because these I don't have. I checked that snap lock bag over in the shed before when I got when I get the kit, the machine head kit. I've only got one screw for this error of saw left in that bag, and oil pickup hose, so it's been rated. I think on a previous video I said I had 3 or 4 left in that bag. There's only one, so I'm going to have to find another parts, some more part saws. Although I've got a bloke, it's a bloke on Facebook's got a whole heap of 31 and it's got 030, 031, 032 part saws. Said when I get a chance, send him a list of everything I want. 031, I just want an 031 to build. And get the parts, That's what I'm. Impulse hose. I don't think I can reach down the side to put it in. Nope. I'm going to have to pull the handlebar off. The impulse hose sits there. Yep. I think. V-bounce, seemed pretty good. Can't pop it out of the handle. So now it's got to come back off. Hopefully it should be all in line now. Just take it back off, put the new impulse hose. Should be able to just take these screws out and lift the handle slightly to put it in. Just like that. Stick it back on its side. Oh, there's the hose, okay? Aftermarket hoses from Sean. They're pretty good. You can see straight through the centre. They're not some Chinese hoses. When they put the core through it, they put it a little bit close to the edge. These ones are pretty good. So that's the hose. That's the hose out of my A41. That's the Pharmatech hose. Exactly the same. Except for, yeah, no, they're the same, but these are A32 hose. Got that little tab, whereas back in the day they don't. I put my, you see it there? Yeah. So I left this in the tank when I sprayed it, that's why it's got paint on it. Put that back in there. Now, push the impulse boot onto the nipple. I might have to touch there, so I can get the needle nose on the wall. Probably won't work either because the boot's in the way. Trusty old tuning screwdriver, that'll get it on without wrecking it. Wow, I should put that on before I put the cylinder on. I can't get nothing in there. Can't get nothing in there because of the boot. Intake boot. It's the one that you guys obviously know that because you've watched the first episode. But it's in the way. And I don't want to remove it. Don't want to remove it because it's sealed. It's been there for 40 odd years. So that's why I'm assuming it's the original intake boot from brand new. So I'll get that in there. Does not want to go on. Pretty sure these are the A32 boots. must be if it goes into there. Spray a bit of carb. 2 straight oil in it. I reckon. Help it slide in. Should have bloody done this while it was off. What a pain in the bum. Far out. Got it. Come on. Finally. And now we pop this back down here. Put that there. The boot up there. Intake hose. Like that. You see the intake, here, look, impulse hose is sticking out a little bit. Pull it through till it pops. Too far, obviously. It's got a little, sits there like that. When you push the carby on, it slides into that, and then I'll just pull the intake boot through with my plier and needle nose. I don't use screwdrivers. Stick a hole in it. Then you've got to find another one. So this saw, I've just noticed this saw's got a brass, a gold coloured carby bolt and a silver stainless. I don't think this is going to come through like this. I'm going to have to bloody use a screwdriver. I don't like doing that. Put a hole in it, I'll be up shit creek. Oh, I think I just did. Doesn't want to cooperate as usual. Put the AV mount screws back in. I might go and have a fag. Concentrating that much, I'm sweating. Sweating like it's my own customer's saw that I'm working on. It's mine. So yeah, I'll screw these back in. Might go and have a cigarette, cool down a bit. Getting frustrated. I don't want to break nothing. Wish they made these Torx or something instead of flathead. They're hard to line up. Screwdriver keeps slipping out of them. That one's in. Pop it over this side, put this one in. that. This side was easier, I think. There. Fall into the intake either. So get the tuning screwdriver out and see if I can get most of this boot in without ripping it, because I'll have to go and get another one. So I'm grabbing it where the carby bolt groove is. And I'm just doing a twist and pull to try and get it up over the lip. It's almost there. But every time I move the pliers, it wants to go back in. So the top half is already in place, and this bottom section, oh, here we come. Like that. Did you see it? So that is smack bang on line. Now with the carby, actually while I have a cigarette, I will go outside and clean it with Carby Clean. Then when I come back, we'll put it in. Then we'll put the chain brake assembly back on when I remember how it goes. Remember that long bolt I put in the dog spike? It goes there. So there's another smaller head screw that goes down inside there, because it's got to come to here. I reckon it might be one of these ones. That's got to go no, it doesn't. Must go there. All good. See you in a minute. Thanks. Welcome back. Carby's clean. What's going on? Put it, lean on it like that so you can see what I'm doing. Later on, when I do the startup video, we'll see how it runs as is. It's been dry for almost 12 months, I think. Might be longer actually, but we'll see how it goes. It does want to run nicely. I'm going to put a kit in it anyway, but we'll see how it goes. And the boot doesn't want to line up properly. It's on now. We'll do the trigger. I think we'll do the trigger and the throttle linkage. Hopefully I don't have to take it back off to do that. Throttle linkage. Well, that's still intact. It's dirty though. Let's give it a wipe. There's a little E-clip that holds this on the carby. That's going to be fun to find, but I've got a storage box over in the other shed full of them, different sizes. So I'll just, excuse me, take the linkage off, give it a wipe. Put the linkage back on. I think it goes that way. Judging by, no. Goes that way. Down in there. And down in there. So we'll take the handle out. Cover. That's not going to be able to be resurrected unless I try polishing it with cutting compound. Side cover. Actually, that's the one off it. I've got one spare because I bought an air cleaner, OEM cut cleaner, with the cover off the other one, but the other one's been painted. But I found that you could probably polish it, so we'll give that a crack in another day. I've got to take the carby back off. So, throttle lock, operator presence, that needs wiping. Pretty sure that's a pin that goes in there, and not a screw. But I'm not seeing the pin. Just a crank out of the 31. Yeah, there's no pin in here for the throttle linkage trigger. Was it a pin or was it a screw? I think that goes on the switch. To protect something. That's the old OEM impulse hose. It's still good, but replace it while it's off. Outer bar plate. I'm not seeing the pin for the throttle linkage. Yes, I am. Hiding. Was hiding under the sawdust in the bottom flap of the box. If that makes sense. So, doesn't matter what direction I go in. I'll get it started. And guess what? No, that's how it goes. Yep, goes in front of the high-low screws. But it won't stay there because that little E-clip is probably amongst all the sawdust in here. So I'll go over to the other shed and get the spring below the throttle lock, this one here, so the operator presence lever can go in. But we'll, excuse me, we'll tap this pin back in. Probably just do it with a plastic hammer, and it's not all the way through, but we'll put, can we use sit it like that and use the T25 that's stuffed. It's got to go a bit more. Just use the plastic part of the hammer, and it's in. Now, what do I do with the handle backing? It's cracked right there. She's right, should be right. I'll use it. The saw's not going to get used for hours and hours and hours and hours. Will get used probably till, or probably a tank of fuel each time I go out, maybe. It's just here to say that I've got two of them, pretty much. Clean enough. Presence lever. It just sits there with the spring in the little slot. Put the handle down, screw in the bottom. It's been chewed by a dog or melted at some stage. There and there. Okay. Sits there, spring in there. Slot that into there. That to there. Yes. This one. I think. What are you doing? You're going to push the top of the door in. It's the wrong screws. Might be that one. It's Phillips. I hate this part. Put it on the screwdriver and check it that way. Magnet head. screw in. It'll be this one. A bit longer. That's the one, I think. It's going down. No. I think. I don't know. No, it's not screwing in. I don't know what screw was there. Just lift it back off. It's coarse thread. Could have been one of these stupid screws here, these long Allen heads. No, it's coarse thread. Just found a carving nut. We'll get everything out of the box. Yeah, see how soft the bottom AV mounts were. This was the other one. Completely broken. It's the top bad's got nothing written on it. You can see the TIHL, that's it. And that's the starter one. So the core. That might be it. I've got two coarse thread screws here, but they're not long enough. Try the kit, see if the kit's got one in it long enough. Actually, it's a cylinder screw here from a Chinese saw. Doesn't fit, it's not long enough. Yeah. I bet these coarse head screws go in it, but they're not long enough. See this? We'll come back to that, fuck it. Pull the carby back off, put this little ring in the boot. Getting ahead of myself. Trying to rush things. I'm rushing because I've got other projects. I haven't had a customer for about a month. It's been next door neighbour who works at a timber yard. All the exports over to China and stuff. They run saws when it gets caught in the debarker. So he's brought me a couple of saws. He's got a demo saw for demo saw he wants me to rebuild. I think the nuts can go on now. Captive nuts in the filters, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, just he had a solo. His stepson found a solo 635 in the shed. Asked me to have a look at it, see what was wrong with it. I could tell straight away that the oil pump wasn't working. The chain was dry and hot. Where to put that carby screw? Nut. Turned out the worm drive in the solo was plastic melted away, and the gear on the pump itself wouldn't turn. Common problem, apparently. So I sourced a part saw with oil pump still worked, swapped it over. Then I had to buy a set of the carby adjustment screws for the spline and the D and the Pac-Man and all that. Tuned it up for him, it runs, and then he bought me a solo, what was it, 460 over to look at it. What was it? Screen in the carby was clogged. Fuel filter, fuel hose, and a tuned it in the cut. Then he bought me over a MS-180 for a service. Serviced it in the shop. Two chains to sharpen the chains. Service clean, the usual stuff. And then he bought me over a Husky 236. Said they couldn't get it started. Primer bulb was stuffed. Changed the primer bulb, sharpened the hand filed the chain, and none of them have been back yet. So they must be good. So the demo saw they bought brand new. Ran the fuel that come with it from Husky, then straight fueled the second tank. So depending on the models, depending on whether it'll get a rebuild or not, I think. So yeah. Stitch this down. Don't want to go spastically over tight. That's good. E-clip for there. I think there might be a little washer as well. Could be wrong. So I think we'll leave that for a second. We'll go to the chain brake. Chain brake handle. It requires one screw. Would be this one gathering. That's the one. Give the spring a wipe, because it's a bit dirty. It's a lot dirty. It's actually coming back shiny. There's a bit of the degreaser stuff I use on the rag. It's still a little bit wet. But this stuff will clean barbecues, chainsaws, Honda motors. Won't clean them real well, but it will clean them. So there's a hole. Must be that for that. This way, this way. So there's a hole there, and then I can't remember how I pulled this off. Okay. So that in the hole. This is dirty too, but I can wash it later. And push it. That in the hole. Put that in there, hopefully it'll cooperate. That in its hole. Slide. That in its hole, push it down. It needs to go in that hole that side first though. Maybe it'll go, yeah, that way. Okay, that in its hole, flip that around like so. One motion. And it doesn't want to because it's bent. So unbend it. So that there, put that in its hole. And try and like that. Yes! Wipe the screw for it. Bit of Loctite. I'm going to just put the lid back on this. Lay it on its side and do it up. Everyone see that crack there? She'll be right. There's actually a brand new top handle for one of these. What is all over the bench? Water. Must have a leak somewhere in here. It's all timber. It'd be wet. Water everywhere. The neighbour will have to get back on the roof and fix that. I can't, I'm too heavy. Okay, that's on. We might see if this chain catcher, pull that back off, check it's the right screw. Yep. Yeah, that'll do. There's plenty of these little ones. This is this one and one other that length. Bit of Loctite, which I just kept put the lid back on. I'll sit it there, give it a wipe because it's dirty. It's dirty inside too, but can't really clean it out. Oh yeah, let's do that. Now we'll put it on. Hopefully that way. Try and get it 99% complete to where it's ready for this. Well, this side's ready for the seals to go into now, but put the chain brake back on it, together on it. Find the screw for that handle assembly. Swaps screwdrivers. And this one's too big. See if this one will fit it. That one fitted. So once the seal goes down, you put this on. Get that down. That way, that way. Then you clutch. This one, then the clutch. Then the sprocket. No, sprocket, then the clutch, because it's an external one. Sits that way. Sprocket, then clutch. Operator presence. Lever. Throttle lock works. And it's just only the handle. Can't get over that. Not a screw here that fits. I reckon it was this one. Let's have a look how much comes out from the bottom up. Not even a thread. So I'm going to have to go find one. Unless, put the lid back on that. Put it out of the way. Unless it was one of these bolts. It's a possibility. I don't know why there's two bolts in this box. That screws in. I don't want to use a bolt though, I would rather use a screw. Suppose it's 8mm. Not 8mm, it must be 7/16. 2 different bolts, 2 different threads. I bet this one's 8mm. 8mm. Let's have a look at these ones. That's the same size. Different thread. We're here all day doing this. Tell you what, I'll go get my E-clip case, find the right size for the throttle cable linkage, find the screw, what is that? So that sits like idle screw, can go back in. This case, I don't know if you can tell, whereas this one's been the one off it. Captive nut missing the threads. Captive nut with thread. There's thread stuck in the side. I'm guessing this is a later model. Oh, I said that, didn't I? Because of the coil. So this one has threads, obviously from a points and condenser 038, 32, sorry. I wish I had an 038. This one's later, so it's got a different one, so I'm going to have to pull that thread out because I want to use this cover instead of this one. This one's a bit beat up. This one's nicer looking, unless I polish. Anyway, we'll put the idle screw back in. It's a touch dirty. I didn't really want any form of anything inside this airbox, but we'll put it back in. No thread. What do you call it? Thread locker. No thread locker in it, because you got to turn it. So what I do with these is I wind them in so I just see the butterfly move, which should be right there. I can just see it's just lifted the butterfly. That's where I have it until we go to start it. So I'll go get my E-clip kit and find a screw that will fit into there. That's about 1 inch long. I'll be back. Thank you.